Well, thanks for staying tuned to ADBN Television. Our next discussion is on how local content is reshaping oil sector jobs. I will also be narrowing our focus down to the reality of Nigerian Varsities. Our guest on the program joins us virtually. He is Chief Engineer Nkenchor Chukwuemeke Okwuokenye. He's a civil engineer, Chairman Calvary Polytechnic. He is a respected industrialist and philanthropist from Delta State, a retired Shell executive. He founded the Calvary Schools and Calvary Polytechnic, which offers education, jobs, and scholarships to hundreds of Nigerians. And he is celebrated for his community service and business ventures in manufacturing. He's also happily married with 4 children. For his hobbies and relaxation, it's on record that he enjoys playing polo and golf. Well, Chief Engineer, good morning to you and welcome to the program. Hello, sir. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Beautiful. Welcome to the program and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, it's quite a trying time when we discuss tertiary education in Nigeria. There's been a lot of debates on, do we rejig the current admission criteria? Should the cutoff mark drop? Should the quotas increase as well? And people who are hopeful of attaining tertiary education, particularly would focus on the clamor for university education at a time when we're told that, be it polytechnic, colleges of education, once it's a tertiary certificate, we should focus priority on our stability other than certificates. I'd like to get your take on how much of a reality Nigerian universities are faced with at this crucial period.
Well, if I can hear you clearly, well, the issues facing the Nigerian education are much, and it requires concerted effort to discuss and then decide on the best way to move forward. The issue of polytechnic and so much on the ground, but I think the federal government is already doing something to assuage the issues, especially with the dichotomy between the HND and the first degree holders of university. But let it be known that university education and have its own priorities, it has its own policy direction, quite different from that of the polytechnic education. The polytechnic education is essentially to fill some gaps for our industrial purposes and for our development. While that of the universities is essentially for management and managerial work the country. But all depend on the policy of the federal government on education.
Now, Doctor, you've talked about the preference of the federal government's policies in this regard. In recent times, there have been debates on, do we need to reduce the cutoff mark owing to what students are now scoring in JAM as an entry requirement? Just a couple of days ago, some persons were also debating the need for 5 credit passes in WAEC to also supplement the entry requirements into either polytechnics or universities. I saw the argument that it seems as though our standard of education is falling. I'd like to get your view on this. Is our standard of education falling? Is that why we're seeing a reduction in cutoff marks or even entry requirements? What's your view in that regard, sir?
Well, even though for cutoff marks, the cut-off mark for college education and polytechnics is determined clearly, and that of the university. And that of the polytechnics are lower. I think this year it was about 120, while for the universities was minimum of 150, 180, depending on the university. So, well, there are issues surrounding admission into this higher institution, and people are making various comments. Many people are not able to get in admission, and the onus lies on them to do some rejigging, or the federal government to do some more work, because some universities have over admission, while some have a vacancy. They are not being able to get students, and I think that lies squarely at the JAMB office.
For your news on the go, ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms. Anavo TV app, ADBN Channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Limexwell TV app. To get the latest news straight to your phone, join our WhatsApp TV channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across social media handles. On X at ADBN TV, Instagram at ADBN TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV. Keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
We talked about the entry requirements and how they shape the criteria for persons seeking tertiary educations, either in polytechnics, colleges of educations, or universities. But now when they get in, we're faced with a system where the associations, be it ASUP or ASU, have had endless dialogues with the federal government since 2009, trying to fine-tune their demands and ensure that we do not have strikes interrupting learning. Chief Engineer, sir, I would like your honest assessments of how much of progress we have recorded in managing strikes and disagreements between university unions and the federal government.
And we've not had the breakdown as before, but there's still a lot of grounds to cover. There's still a lot of discussions to be held, and then I think part of the challenges is mainly fund. Federal government is looking for fund to meet up the demands, and then ASU is asking for fund. So there will be, without fund, you can't meet up the minimum standard required, especially as is currently being done worldwide, other parts of the world. So they are both working on adjusting, especially the issue of fund and another issue.
Let's also talk about this in respect to being globally competitive. The quality of graduates being churned out from our tertiary institutions. Do you think that we need a rejigging of our curriculum? How competitive are we in terms of the Nigerian graduates when we look at other graduates from across the globe?
Well, that is an area of concern, because while some universities in the country are doing very well in the quality of graduates, some universities and polytechnics, both the public universities and polytechnics, and then the private universities and polytechnics. Some are doing very well. Some are also lacking behind. Well, the regulators are also working hard to try and beef up the standard. But to achieve education of graduates, it requires a lot of funds, especially as regards equipment, as regards modern technology, as regards the lecturers and profs and professors. So there's still a long way to go when you compare it with what is happening outside the country, worldwide.
Now let's tap into your wealth of knowledge as a retired Shell executive when we talk about jobs in the oil sector, particularly with regards to local content. Engineers, I would like your honest opinion on how local content is reshaping the landscape when it comes to jobs in the oil sector with Nigerian focus.
Well, the local content is an area where opportunities for our staff and our local industry shift from foreign to local companies. It's something that has been identified by the federal government, and that is why the local content law, has come into place in 2010. However, to the best of my knowledge, a lot of achievements have been made in that direction, especially in the oil industry, in the oil and gas sector. But we need to also work with the institutions that are bringing out the local content, the work, the staffs from the polytechnics and then the universities. I remember in some of the oil companies, multinationals, who focused on the local content, they had issues with the quality of staffs being jigged out from the Nigerian institutions. But that led to these companies, multinationals, instituting an education system for our Nigerian universities. After qualifying, they have close to 1 year, 6 months of training before they move directly into the industry, before they are fully employed. But I think that there is need for the university staffs, the university lecturers, to have a system where they interchange or come and have experience in the industry. I think it's happening in some other countries. I remember when I was studying outside the country, some of our lecturers do about 2-3 years in the industry and do exchange and come back to the classroom. It improves the quality as regards practicals especially.
Now, engineers, let's look at the role of NCMDB, because the law also established NCMDB for monitoring and to evaluate the fact that not just having this law on paper, the mandatory involvement on the quotas that local content is supposed to be involved in, even at the upstream level, is ensured. In your fair assessments, how well has NCDMB done in ensuring that the provisions for the involvement of local content is seen to be done?
Well, I think they are doing very well. They are doing very well because since their creation, above 10 years ago, they have been able to monitor what's happening in the oil sector, and we have we have growth in the local content companies. We have capacity development. We have technology transfer. We have a boost of manufacturing and fabrication, and a lot of economic benefits. These are being recorded with the local companies, the local staffs. It's clear because there are so many industries or companies that have been developed because of this purpose. There are names, many names that we could mention, but let's say, for instance, Wellman Group. Wellman Group has done excellently over the past 5-10 years. I mean, the kind of work they are doing, especially with Dangote Refinery, it used to be entirely done by foreign companies. And there are many other companies, apart from the economic benefit, many of the workers are being trained. Many of them are not only low staff workers, but are engineers, project managers, and executives. And this is one of the policy thrusts that the federal government has done that requires kudos from the general public. I think for me, I may not be right, but that is a very welcome idea.
And I just have a last question for you going. In as much as job seekers are very delighted hearing some of this feedback and your assessments on capacity building, I don't know if you would rate the compliance high with the law that says at least 50% of the assets of whatever company that is vying for the award of contract should be located in Nigeria, and a sizable contract value from that sum go to local content development. Are you also well pleased with the compliance in this regard?
Yes, please, because from what we have seen, I gave an example with Wellman Group.
Wellman, yes.
There are very many who are now involved in heavy industry in the oil sector, in the offshore. The local content are getting involved in offshore. Many are already involved in onshore, and they're even drilling. These are things that were 100% foreign multinationals. But I think that more than 50% of, or even 60%, are being done by local work. If you go around the country, you see a lot of fabrication yards that are 100% local content.
Well, Chief Engineer, we must thank you for your time on the program, speaking to us on two major topics this morning: the reality of Nigerian Varsities and how local content is reshaping oil sector jobs in Nigeria. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully one of these days when you're in Abuja, we can have you live in our studio as well.
Great.
Well, Chief Engineer Nkenchor Chukwuemeke is a respected civil engineer, industrialist and philanthropist from Delta State, who has shared his thoughts on how we can better reshape Nigeria's landscape in churning out quality graduates and also tapping into our local content in keeping with the laws and the monitoring of the NCDMB in ensuring compliance. Well, that's it on our current affairs-driven discussions this morning. At the top of the hour, we'd have our sports editor join us to take you through the UEFA Champions League match day 4 and some of the amazing results emanating from those quarters. My name is Beto Brian. Thanking you for being a part of the program this morning and wishing you the best of the rest of your day. Have a nice day.